I can't hear you, brother.
Welcome back again. Oh, you can't hear me?
I can now.
Okay.
I can now.
Okay. Yeah, that was an automatic thing. I started to speak too soon.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, Brother Metamorphosis, a.k.a. Neil Frazier, Valley of Dry Bones, Prophecy, Resurrection of Sun, Energy, and Black People. We're at the top of the hour. I'm glad to be here. We were discussing a few things before, and I'm excited about this exchange, and I'm excited about what you have to share in your teachings today, brother. How are you today?
I'm great, Brother Lance. Thank you, man. I always, like I was telling you, man, it's like you got in a time machine and went back through time. And it's good, so good to see you, man. You look refreshed, living a good life there in Ghana. And you know, I was telling you how here a lot of the brothers that you run into look so stressed out. And when I see you, it's like I'm looking back through time. so
I'm not going to lie, brother. I've been sleeping real good. Today was not a hectic day, but it was a fast-paced day because I had a lot of things to do, to set up and taking orders for this and delivery of sand and this and that and whatever. And I slid into home plate. So today's banner is not as spectacular because I had to use, you can come on in, Eric. Yeah, but I couldn't go as deep as I wanted to because I got in minutes before the show started.
Right.
So that's why. But other than that, everything is good. I want to welcome Sister Queen Diane. Always here. Always. The presence is phenomenal and divine all the time. And it just makes me feel good to know that she's there in the chat room and just helping to run things, just being who she is. Talk to us, brother.
Yeah, brother. I mean, I'm excited today because, you know, although we know this is not our new year coming up.
I want to show, now don't mean to cut you, but I want to show you my buddy here, Brother Eric.
Hey, Brother Eric.
This house in this yard wouldn't be what it is if it was my brother right here. So, you know.
Well, great.
He's running things.
All right. hey, with a smile.
Yes,
too.
indeed.
With a smile.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And he looks so, that's why you're looking young. He is younger than me, but he looks younger than what he really is.
I know, I was getting ready to say, well, how could a teenager do all that work by himself?
Oh, he's a married man with some grown kids, trust me.
Wow. Incredible. Well, glad to have you present today, brother.
We went up to the village and yes, I realized that I'm not in good shape that I need to be in because I sit down a lot. I was huffing and puffing up that hill. He was like moonwalking going forward. So I gotta hang with him more and get that energy.
Oh wow. But that's good exercise though. But I want to greet everybody too again. You know, it's always good to be with you guys on Mondays. Sister Queen Diane, I agree, her spirit is definitely dominant. And that creative spirit, I believe Brother Landon Price, a few other brothers are names I've seen, KW, so I'm just glad to be with you guys again today. One of the reasons why I'm excited today about this topic is because of the man that we're actually celebrating today. Arguably the greatest visionary of the 20th century, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. You know, before there was Malcolm, before there was Martin, before there was all of the great civil rights leaders that we know about, it was Marcus Garvey. And the one thing, like I was telling you, Lance, before we get into your banner, is that think about the time that he accomplished this in. Think about the incredible reach that he accomplished and manifested. He wasn't just a dream. There's a difference between a dreamer and a visionary. And think about, we were talking about, there was no internet. There was no telephone. We're talking about a man that actually organized thousands of subsidiaries, or what you could consider subsidiary organizations, all over the planet.
Right.
in the Caribbean, in the motherland,
Right.
here on Turtle Island, Central America, wherever this man went. And we're talking millions of Black people, so we know it can be done. And we're going to get into him today with that. Also, I'm using as a description because one of the other things that we do and the way we've been taught incorrectly when it comes to spiritual things or religion is that we don't see ourselves in these stories. That valley of dry bones is Black people. And you had that visionary who we will refer to today through Ezekiel, that actually the Creator commanded him to speak to that valley of dry bones. So we're going to have a good show for you guys. I delved into this part of our history. Nobody can tell our history like us, and we have to continue to do that. And boy, when you go back and you look at, this is why they want to erase. I actually got chills from watching, listening to that speech from Marcus Garvey. I hadn't heard it in probably 10 years. And, you know, I always loved the speech by Frederick Douglass.
Yes.
But boy, that speech by Marcus Garvey, you talking about.
I want to tell you something real quick. It's going to take 90 seconds. I'll capsulize this whole story.
Okay.
I actually touched some of the original documents that were mass produced for everybody to sign and to read. So it wasn't one thing. It was mass produced. And when I lived in Queens, New York on 134th Street, there was an older woman. Maybe she was in her 70s. And this was in the 70s, okay? So she was alive at the turn of the century, 1900. I don't know her age when Marcus Garvey was doing his thing, but she's from Jamaica. And she was, man, if you heard this woman speak about the movement, she was in it, okay?
She was in it.
She was in it. She was in it. And the family that she was part of was connected to my family because not her husband, but her son-in-law went to school with my father.
Wow.
In Jamaica. My father was born in 1916. Right. This lady was older.
Wow.
So she told me the whole night. She was just, I knew her as a young boy, but I was across the street and there was some people over. My folks had people over. We were playing some music and she came over. She was always welcome. We gave her some food and she zeroed in on me and she told me the importance of me knowing this stuff. You see what I mean? In the spirit.
Yes.
Right? So she sat me down and a lot of the things I couldn't grasp because she was hitting me with it, but she was so passionate about Marcus Garvey. She went across the street and brought the papers that she had been involved with in the movement, and it was in plastic, like a Ziploc bag, right? And it was still yellow. And so she pulled them out for me and said, listen, this is where I signed. This is so-and-so, the organization and everything. And I'm looking at these things and I realized wasn't dumb then. I realized the importance of it. And she was telling me all this history and she had tears in her eyes.
Wow.
And so after that, after she poured her heart out for like about 3 hours to me about this and how passionate she was and how we depend on you as the youth and the younger folk to notice and carry this history because it's very important.
Right.
And they tried to destroy him and they tried to stop him. There was a song, oh God, I forgot the name of who made it, called Misty Blue. Oh. My whole world turned misty blue. It's a nice slow song. She asked if I could play that song. And she handed me the papers and she stood up and she danced to herself. Everybody was there. They were paying no mind because she was in her own world. She was just dancing and she had tears in her eyes. And she kept telling me while she was dancing slow, never forget this, Lance, please, whatever. So after that, she hugged everybody. She went home across the street and she died.
I wonder what happened to the documents.
I would have loved to preserve them. her family really wasn't, they knew, but they really weren't into that. But I understood what that was all about. See, it's moments like that that make me know, huh?
Did you preserve them, you said?
If I had them, I would have.
Oh, yeah, okay.
She took them back, but what I'm saying, after she danced and had a good, and she hugged me, she said, please never forget, never forget. She told me this, and it made me cry. I mean, I found out early in the morning, in the wee hours. I saw the ambulance across the street.
Wow.
And I'm always a late bird, a night bird. I'm looking, and I'm like, what's going on? They carried her out, and she was already gone. And just hours later, she was dancing her heart out to that song. Misty Blue. It's a song out in the 70s. I keep forgetting the name.
I remember that song.
Yeah. So every now and then when I'm in my moments, I play that song and I blast it over the speaker. And sometimes So it's things like this that even though I can be a jokester and I can be funny and I can tell a dirty joke here and there, at the core of everything, this is why I do what I do. Because she didn't have to show that to me. She infused me with something more. And there are many faceless people that I know that they see me and they always came to me with something beyond my age. You know what I mean? Like they saw something, and I was raised that way. But I would have loved to have those
New York City has a real rich history of our people, right?
Yeah.
A very, especially with Harlem being there, but certainly Queens, Brooklyn, all of the areas where when Black people came up from the South.
And mass migration.
There. Yes, that great migration.
In the Caribbean.
There is so much history. The majority, or I would say all.
It was beautiful. I remember it. I remember it from single digit ages.
Yeah. Well, all of our great leaders.
That's my root, man. I said, that's my root.
Yeah.
The imagery and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I absorbed all of that. I was a very unique position. Not just that, I grew up there and I went, no. It was very spiritual for me, and to know the connections that I have, you know?
Yeah. And our history, it's so many stories like that. It's just, when you think about that, what you just said, think of the millions of people who had to sign those same documents. They also wore uniforms that distinguished themselves.
Yep.
So it was something. And after I went back this weekend and I immersed myself into our great ancestor like I do with all of them, it's something we have to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's very relevant for the experiences we have today. But again, I want to greet you, my brother.
Yes, brother. I'm waiting to hear what you have to say.
Yes, sir. But
we're gonna let you flow.
We do want to hear what you thought about putting together the banner, though, real quickly.
Oh, okay. Well, today I have to apologize because I didn't have the last night, and I woke up on the couch over there, the studio now, right? And then I went to bed. I said I'll do it in the morning. But like Eric can say, in the test tube, we had the delivery of sand, and we got up, we got out, we made some runs, and I made some runs, and I came in. So I just made a plain banner. But I'll tell you what I wanted to do. Okay. What I wanted to do.
Okay.
I have a lot of images saved that I create.
Right.
And of course, yes, these are AI tools, but you have to prompt them right to get the right result. And a lot of times they work against you.
Why did you choose this one?
Well, I chose this one because you can never go wrong with faces. This is what most people don't understand. And being the fact that we say the Valley of Dry Bones, prophecy, resurrection of sun energy, and actually it said, and Black people, but I didn't have enough space to be able to show the fonts, because if you have too many words, you got to make the font smaller, and it's harder to read when you're looking at a thumbnail on a phone or on a computer. But one thing that most people don't understand, since we are speaking about Valley of Dry Bones, we know we're speaking about ourselves as a people, not putting us down. But the bottom line is we're like dry bones. We are not living up to our potential. You see what I mean? So with prophecy, resurrection of sun energy, that's deep, the title that you made. You know, sun energy, this is what powers us. This is what powers all life on the earth.
Exactly.
anything getting burnt by the sun is not natural. Okay. And you know what I'm trying to say? Well, you're speaking prophecy and resurrection coming back. And you're speaking about the prophecy of that. And everything points to that. Whether we know that or not, we are the dry bones in the valley. And we are coming back. And that's why there's such a fight against us. But going back to what I wanted to do, I was going to have a bunch of us and have dry bones at the bottom, the sun at the top. And I was going to have 2 tablets in the back with some hieroglyphics on it, basically, you know, to represent scripture. That's what I wanted to do, but I didn't have the time because I came in about 30 minutes before and I had to set up everything in the studio, you know, to work. So this is a very plain version of it, but I chose this out of my pile of visuals because I have thousands of AI visuals created that pertain to us. I always make a fresh one depending on the title, but I had to pull this one out. So what makes this powerful is that you can't go wrong with faces. And what most people don't know, most companies and corporations know when they advertise in the media, when you have an ad by itself with words, it usually doesn't capture attention. When you have a face with the ad, it captures more attention. So since we have just faces here, we can imagine us as in the Valley Dry Bones, the prophet, because no matter what's thrown at us, we always have hope. There's always a sense of hope. And even if we get knocked down, it's always a sense where, you know what, I was knocked down for a day or two, but you know what, I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep on swinging. So resurrection is coming no matter what. We're the strongest on the planet and we built all civilization. You see what I mean? So that's not the banner that I wanted, but it's the faces you can't go wrong. The faces you can't go wrong.
Yes.
You know?
And you know, that man, I just got a visual from that. In the sense that that sun energy can't be denied. I mean, with that you melanin in your face like that, it cannot be denied where the real strength of the planet where it lies. And so today, brother, as I was telling you when we were talking privately, this was a man who all of our great civil rights leaders and leaders prior to the civil rights movement, they got their inspiration from. And what was so amazing about him, before I do the script real quick, well, you know what? I'll do the script because that'll set up today when we actually get into Marcus Garvey.
Right. Take your time.
But if you want to put the bones picture up there, Lance, okay, I'll just tell people the one with the bones. Those dry bones. See if I can get it right. Nope. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I chose this picture because when you look at this story, and again, when you look at the names of the people that we've been taught about, these are not the original names of the people, these Black people.
Right.
They are written about or taking the scripts from, you know, our original manuscripts. So, but for sake of that, we're gonna, this particular topic pertaining to Marcus Garvey came out of Ezekiel 37, 1 through 14. And I'm just gonna, I just wrote a little summary of it because it actually, when we think about prophets and prophecy, we've been taught to think about something that happened 2,000 years ago.
Right.
And so immediately it takes us out of the equation because we don't see ourselves in this. But I immediately saw, and I hadn't looked at this script, I know, in probably 12, 15 years. But this particular story, it describes the powerful vision of the Valley of Dry Bones. And this is where God takes the prophet Ezekiel to a valley of skeletal remains. Now, however, I know people are going to see different things when they see this, but in my mind, this symbolizes hopelessness and death. And there's no sign of life here anywhere. Okay, this is what you get when everything is scraped off. So actually, you have to ask ourselves this question. Are we speaking death or life into ourselves? And when I'm talking about Black people as a whole, the diaspora. So the other thing that's special, when God commanded Ezekiel to prophesy to the bones. Okay. So again, the reason why I asked this question, are we speaking life or death into our culture here in the diaspora and here in America? It is because life and death is in the power of the tongue. You don't know how many people's lives have been destroyed by lies, deceptions, gossip, people saying things about. I saw a meme the other day. This young Black girl was coming, I don't know, out of somewhere, but she was walking down the street and she had a nice dress, appropriate for her age. And some old Black ladies was coming out of church and they was like, well, you need to learn how to, not entice men or something like that, she said. And the young girl snapped back at her and said, you need to stop gossiping about the pastor after sitting up in there and clapping for him for a whole hour. See, what you say about people, it can refer to you in a different way. It may not be the way that you're condemning them for. So, yeah.
That's funny.
And so the thing is here, God took him down to this valley and let him stand amongst these. And I'm sure in his mind, he was thinking to himself, okay, is he telling me I'm about to die? Or is there a bigger picture here? And the other thing too is what we're missing with these childish beef that we have going on in the diaspora is that anywhere you go, you see the skeletal remains of our people all over the land. That's what you don't get. And so he actually commanded him, Ezekiel, to speak to the dry bones. And he asked them, do you think that these bones can live again? And his response was, well, only you know, Lord. So in the end, when Ezekiel started speaking to the dry bones, they began to resemble or reassemble. They began to grow flesh and skin, but they lacked breath or spirit. So we see this situation where we have, and I'm going to speak about America because that's what I know, that's where my experience is. But of course, we know this happens all over wherever our people are. We see this idea that we have progressed and they have tricked us in the sense that we have accepted this and more importantly, we have settled for this. But when he spoke to these bones, the skin, the flesh, everything like we look now came into being. However, there was no breath or there was no spirit. And so he gave them another command. He said, now I want you to command the four winds of the earth. So nature has to be involved in some kind of way. And see, this is why I know people get angry with me when I say this, but what you're referring to, what they have taught you about a Holy Spirit, these are the powers that are this is the power that is in nature, through fire, through wind. So why didn't God say, breathe the Holy Spirit? And I don't want to sound like a preacher today. That's not my intention. It's just some of this stuff. When you sit down and think about it, you can literally see the okie doke that has happened to our people. But when we interject ourselves into these stories, it changes the whole dynamic. It's such a powerful revelation. And when
Yes,
Ezekiel
indeed.
spoke to, what did you say, Lance?
No, I said, yes, indeed. You're right.
Oh yeah, but they
And
always
remember,
take
brother,
ancient,
you
huh?
listen, you don't have to apologize for trying to sound like a preacher, because see, you're speaking truth.
Right.
And you never have to apologize for speaking truth.
That's true.
And in actuality, the way it's been going in this society, it's below that. You're better than a preacher because you're speaking truth. There's so many preachers that speak lies and twist things around for their benefit. I'm quite sure there are good ones out there, but they need to speak up when they see the bad ones. So you're above that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, brother. I try. I
It's the
do
truth.
have, and you know, one of the reasons why is because I see how they hitting our people so hard every day. So I get a little, I don't want to use the word sensitive because I'm not, but I'm looking at that saying, okay, the gut punches are coming at our people every day, like they do us, right? So I try to formulate it in a way where we can look at it and talk about it without, putting each other down. That's
right.
the way to say it. But I'm just going to go ahead and give it to you like it was given to me. That always works best, right?
That's right.
So when he spoke to the four winds, and the spirit arose from the four winds into those bodies, then they rose as a vast army, or they were woke. And it's so interesting how we know, those of us that know this trick that they use, they take our power words and then they twist it around to give it a negative connotation. But brother, our people are woke is the best thing in the world, but we still got to deal with this valley of dry bones. And so today is a celebration again to one of the greatest, if not the greatest, and I'm talking about from all cultures, visionaries of the 20th century, Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. If you want to put his picture up there, we'll go into him today. And I decided to devote the presentation to him because he is worthy of this. He is worthy of this. A lot of times, what happens is, and we're going to start out with something involving Ghana, Lance, since you're there. I love all the real spiritual connections. But Marcus Garvey was a man, and see, we make this mistake with this savior mentality that one person has to embody the perfection of everything. If that was the case, using your analogy, Lance, the toolbox wouldn't be necessary. You take one tool to do everything. But we know that's not possible. And we're going to talk about some of it. Really, really struck me. And that's why I know this is a prophecy for our time, for our people in the Valley of Dry Bones. That here was a man that came up like the majority of us in poverty, in Jamaica, in colonialism, and the way that in Jamaica, when they went to those sugar plantations, the life expectancy was only 7 years. That's hard work, man, in that sun.
Wow.
And so sometimes the only reason why we have these little childish beefs going on is because we don't know the real history of our people throughout the diaspora. But we're going to talk about that today. But one of the things that he did before we go into his bio that was very, very important is that he showed that we as a people not only have or must have our own independent lands, but he showed how we could organize all throughout the diaspora without the internet, without cell phones. He had over 1,000 organizations throughout the Caribbean, throughout America, throughout Central America, Costa Rica, Africa. So when someone says that Black people can't do something on this scale, that's a lie. And it's also like there was a time when it was said that it was an inhumane feat to accomplish the 4-minute mile until Roger Bannister came along. Okay, and he broke it. So the amazing thing that happened after Roger Bannister broke that record is in less than 6 months, 50 people broke the record. So it's a mindset as well that has been put on our people to make us think that we can't organize. And like the story you were telling, Lance, all of these documents that our people had that's now lost to history, that was one of the other things too. We relied a lot on our oral history.
Yes.
Okay. But Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, one of his first disciples, and who, this is why we always look to Ghana, brother. You're in the most powerful spiritual part of the planet, because Ghana was the first Black nation to declare independence, September 7th, 1957.
Yep.
They also started a Black Star Line in honor of Marcus Garvey. It was the first Black governed nation, and it patterned itself after the philosophy of Marcus Garvey. Also, at the 5th African Conference in Manchester, England, in 1945, when the World War II was ending, it was the first in the diaspora that came together and brought people from America, from the Caribbean, from Central America, from Africa, brought all these people together. Now think if he had the tools that we had today. So I want to talk, basically, let's talk about his philosophy first, because this is very important. And this is also something we see today that's going on in the world, okay? And when we give this blueprint, then we're going to talk about the amazing accomplishments and how he got to this point and how he was able to accomplish so much. But also, we had the same dynamic that existed between him and Boule members like W.E.B. Du Bois, who was his greatest nemesis. But his philosophy was that Black people worldwide should separate from whites and build their own nations and corporations and establish their own economic structure. But his main nemesis and opposition to this great movement was W.E.B. Du Bois, who was the first Black person to graduate with a PhD from Harvard University. And W.E.B. Du Bois was a powerful man, okay? Him and E. Philip Randolph, who invited Marcus Garvey to America. But in 1909, W.E.B. Du Bois was the co-founder and executive director of the NAACP. And see, Marcus Garvey had a major issue with the NAACP, rightfully so, because he talked about when he first visited the office of the NAACP, when Philip Randolph invited him there in Harlem, he thought he was in the wrong place because all he saw was white people. And he was like, oh no, this is not it. This is not what I believe in. This is not what I want. And so W.E.B. Du Bois, you know, being raised in American, you know, whatever you want to call it, where you feel as if you have to stand up for a system that is diametrically opposed to your people. But Marcus Garvey was a real man. And so what happened was there was this big fight, okay, amongst the elite class of Black people during this time. But it was the lower class Blacks in America that absolutely clung to Marcus Garvey. They called him the Black Moses. But Du Bois advocated for integration. And, you know, along with the other Boule members, like I was saying, they were very instrumental in having Marcus Garvey imprisoned and deported. His downfall and legacy, they finally came up with something like they always do. They get our own people to trap people that are fighting for us.
Yes.
And they got together with what's his name, J. Edgar Hoover, and those other vampires, and they accused him of mail fraud, okay, relating to the Black Star Line. And this is why I was saying earlier, one of the real issues that we have is the head nigga in charge syndrome. And it's a real problem. It's a real problem, brother, because it comes from the plantation. You know, it really is the house nigga and the field nigga, because the reason why the colonialism was effective, because again, we have the same dynamic, and we talked about this before, Lance, where you can have 12 white men in a boardroom, all of them and their skills and their companies have, you know, are bringing something to the table, and one of them might have slept with the other one's wife, but they're still going to stand on their business. Now, they might find a way around you individually, but as a collective, those 12 white men are going to stick together. With our people, we see a strong brother like this. So he was a great visionary and organizer, but as it was said, he was a poor in finances. He wasn't that good in terms of structuring finances, right? Again, this is why we have a toolbox. So the elite class, the Boule, when they recognized this weakness, this is how they attacked him. Because if they were able to keep the right records, because people at that time, you know, Black people had to mail in their little money, right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't believe their ledgers were handled appropriately. But it led to a conviction in 1925, and he was deported in 1927 from the port of New Orleans by the U.S. government. And it was so fascinating when I saw this, man. I got a little emotional watching this, because it just showed what our people have sacrificed and have done. Not something that is a dream. We're talking about what they did, and they didn't have anything but their trust in each other and their import-export trade with each other. But it was over 1 million people that lined the streets of New Orleans to bid farewell to this man. And
wow,
man, it was, boy, that was a powerful scene for me, because Black people were looking like, okay, this is our greatest hope. He's done so much. He's organized us all over the world. And now the United Snakes of America, with our own people, much like those coons today, have destroyed the greatest thing. Here's a Black man that built corporations all over the world for Black people. But yet we have more educated people than ever before in the history of the world, right here in America.
That's right.
Black people. And see, we have to look at this, and we have to look at why we find ourselves in a valley of dry bones. Why? There's a reason for this. Globally, Marcus Garvey established the largest Black international corporation in U.S. history for Black people, or for any corporation. He had more corporations. Think about this. In the early 1900s, he had more corporations than any Black corporation here in America. Think about that.
Wow.
And that was because of poor people giving 35 cents. I don't know if it was every month or whatever, giving what they had to build this man. But also he produced. He wasn't just taking in money. And now he may not have kept good ledgers, but you could see the results of his work.
Right.
And finally, before we go into his bio, in fact, Lance, could you put that picture up of one of the corporations? I think it was in Harlem.
Yeah.
So we see these proud members with their uniforms on, right? So don't tell me Black people can't unite and build corporations. That is a straight out lie. If you, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, that's it. Now, these were the officers, okay, and operators who helped with the day-to-day organization. Now, again, I want people, so while y'all on YouTube beefing about this childish stuff, to look at this, okay? Here were uneducated Black people, okay, writing letters or coordinating between the diaspora from Harlem, running international corporations of Black people in the Caribbean, in Costa Rica, in Jamaica. I don't know about Haiti, but in Africa, in Central America, what's going on? So don't tell me Black people can't do this. We're looking at it.
And if you notice at the bottom of the picture, in white letters, it's kind of hard to see, but it says,
oh, yeah.
Philadelphia Division, right?
Okay,
so that's the Philadelphia Division. What was going on in New York City, right? What was going on in New Jersey, Maryland,
exactly.
Washington, right? No internet.
Exactly. Hey, that's it, brother.
Up in the windows looking down.
Huh?
You can look up in the windows up top in that photo and the folks are looking down.
That's right. And they said that one of the things that stood out why he was so effective is because he was very passionate. And you had to be. And again, I go back to the time that he was living in.
Right.
Okay. He had to be. And then on top of that, you got W.E.B. Du Bois, the first Black man to graduate from our oldest and most prestigious university in America, opposing him. Think about that. And so finally, with the from the business side, he established the UNIA, which was the United Negro Improvement Association. There were grocery stores. He published a newspaper called the Negro World Newspaper. They had printing press everywhere in all of the jurisdictions. They had laundromats, restaurants, Black manufacturing companies. They had trucking companies. They had hotels. And at the same time, what was going on was the East St. Louis massacre. So amidst all of this turmoil and Black men fighting in World War II and coming home and get massacred after fighting for the liberation of basically white people, to come back to America and have to face this. So we're looking at a man with a real prophet, a true visionary, with the tremendous amount of courage and love for our people. And see, that's why also thank you, Dr. Kojo.
Okay.
Nelson Mandela was inspired by him as well. So what people do is, like they have taught us, and this vampiric type mentality and mindset they have taught our people, you pick at the things, the weaknesses of a person, not build their strength up. And so it was also said about Marcus Garvey that he demanded loyalty. One of the reasons he did that is because, and we're going to go through his bio real quick, coming to America, he was a smart man too. He looked at the situation. You got these powerful Black men opposing me and the vision. Now, the Creator already took him down to the Valley of Dry Bones, right? And so we're not talking about no religious, something that happened 2,000 years ago. We're talking about something with Marcus Garvey. And see, this is why our people never get the full effect of the scriptures, because they still using a Eurocentric mindset when we have our own prophets that have walked amongst us. So think about him at a young age having to come to America in 1916 after experiencing the type of racism and discrimination that he faced in Jamaica. Lance, your dad's from Jamaica, right? Mrs. Scurv is from Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about. You come out of Jamaica, bro, you done cut your cloth, okay? So to come here to America and be opposed by Black people that look like him just because he's not American, this man was so far above this. He wasn't.
And I just want to interject that I lived through that through my father.
I know you did.
Who was a very intelligent man, understood the deal, blended it really nice. But there were some people who were born in America who looked like us who just didn't like him because he was from there. See, because he was from Jamaica. See, it wasn't like you were looked at as less than, but he worked so hard and accomplished so much in his life and did so much. They couldn't face somebody to be so charismatic the way I say is, because his energy is still in me.
And he started his own business too, right?
Yeah. He could make money out of just whatever. He just, and the lessons I learned from him as a man. But what I'm saying is that I got that opposition too. Now, just to add fire to the whole thing, because I'm born in America, I am an American. I'm a Ghanaian also legally, right? I'm a global citizen. I never turned my back on that. But there were many who didn't accept me on both sides. There are many Americans that I'm born in America, but because they knew my father was from Jamaica, and then there are Jamaicans that know my father's from Jamaica. I never said that I was born and raised in Jamaica, but that's my bloodline. But there are a lot of Jamaicans who don't like that. Not all, but some. That's a little piece I want to say. There's something I can talk about also on another show. But I understand both sides. So with Marcus Garvey going through what he went through, I could see. And way back then, it was going on. And he cared for everybody. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so these same dynamics are playing out. And we're going to talk today about why they're playing out, because see, now you still think that these people have your best interests at heart, okay? But Marcus Garvey was saying, look, these people do not have our best interests at heart. And if we don't separate from them, we're going to be in a world of trouble. Because everywhere he went, so let's talk about how he got to this point. He was the founder of the UNIA, which is the Universal Negro Improvement Association. He was born in St. Anne's, St. Anne's in Jamaica.
That's where my father's from.
That's where your father's from?
St. Anne's, Brownstown.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been there.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that adds something different to today's message then.
Yeah.
So he was born there August 17th, 1887. June, and he died June 10th in 1940. A great orator, political activist, newspaper publisher. Again, he founded the largest Black nationalist movement in the history of America. He advocated for Pan-Africanism, Black pride. He established the Black Star Line for Black economic empowerment and global unity. He also worked in South America, Central America, and London. So what happened was, let's talk about how he actually got inspired, okay? Now, a lot of people don't like to talk about this part of our history as well, but Denmark Vesey was someone that also inspired him, because Black people always fought against this cruel system of slavery. And Denmark Vesey, the reason why you don't hear his name is because he was a brilliant man. I mean, and Denmark Vesey organized the largest slave revolt in U.S. history. July 14th, 1822 in Charleston, South Carolina. But the revolt never happened, because when they were organizing with plantations all around South Carolina. But guess what happened? Step and fetch it told on them. And when the white folks found out about it, they caught Denmark Vesey. They executed 35 of them, and they held 67 of them as co-conspirators with Denmark Vesey. The other thing about Marcus Garvey was he was a very, very intelligent man as well. He spoke French, or Gullah Geechee. He spoke Dutch, and he spoke English. And of course, he spoke the patois, right?
Yes.
So this was another ability. The reason why he could relate to people in different areas of the country or the planet is because he could speak to them in a language.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Brother, if you can. Yeah. Do me a favor, just tilt the top of your phone back a little bit so we can see more of your face. Because when you lean forward, it cuts off your face a little bit.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay, how's that?
There you go. Yeah.
Good.
Right.
So
we're good.
Okay. So this was something else that he looked at prior to coming here, is that he saw what happened to Denmark Vesey. Okay, when he read about the story. But he was also, he was a AME church. The AME church helped spread the message of Denmark Vesey, okay, who called for the overthrow of slavery. And also it was Gullah Jack, or Jack Pritchard, who was a close associate of Vesey, who also spoke Gullah Geechee, that helped them communicate with them on the coast of South Carolina. Now, I'm going to tell you why that's very important. Now, I have roots in Georgia and South Carolina as well. And the Gullah, I know about the Gullah Geechee people. And the thing that made this so interesting was that they were like a base of communication for Denmark Vesey. Okay. So let's talk about finally how Marcus Garvey actually had this vision and as a young person, which shaped his personality. Again, we're talking about the fact that he was born in poverty in Jamaica. One of his first friends was a young white friend in Jamaica at 14 years old. But her father called Garvey a nigger. And that was the first time that he realized that he was, thought of as less than a white person. And that's why when you hear him speak, one of the things he always says is that, oh, put the last band up there, Lance, visual. Yeah. Let him say it in his own words.
There you go.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. We must canonize our own saints, create our own martyrs, and elevate to positions of fame and honor Black men and women who have made their distinct contributions to our racial history. I am the equal of any white man, and I want you to feel the same way. Thank you, brother. Yeah, that said it better than me trying to break it down. But there were several things that happened. Once he discovered this, and I guess they were so close, the white girl's father sent her to Europe. One of the other significant things that happened to him as a teenager is his father built headstones, right? Or sold them to cemeteries. And so one day he took young Marcus with him. After he dug one of the graves, he put an ladder down there. Marcus, he told him to go down in the grave, I guess, presumably to do some work. And then he pulled the ladder back up out of the grave.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So literally, and this, I was thinking to myself too, now this really is like being in a valley of dry bones, huh?
Wow.
Yeah, he took the ladder, and young Marcus was looking like, what's going on? Why you took the ladder? How am I going to get back up?
Right.
He said, you'll find a way, or you'll have to, that is your new home. Think about that. See, that's what the young people are missing today. They don't know what our people had to go through for us to get to this point. That's why, too, people that come to this country, it is a little disrespectful to our history in the sense that, and I get it, they've been lied to too. They don't know the real history of the United States. But back to this lesson. So I don't know how long it took him to get out of there, but he climbed up out of that. Now think about that. When you talk about pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps, here's a man that actually did that, okay?
Yep.
He climbed out of that grave, okay? And when he got back home, his father was just sitting there and said, oh, I knew you was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that Marcus Garvey, or some of the people told the story that I've read, is that he was like in shock. But it was the greatest lesson that he had learned in his life. So just moving a little further along, he read, the thing that inspired him to come to America is he read the book, and I looked at this documentary, Up From Slavery, this weekend by Booker T. Washington, but he actually read the book Up From Slavery, and it inspired him. And although he never met, Booker T died before he made it to America. But this was like, and when you read the story of Booker T. Washington, you know how people who came out of slavery with nothing, couldn't even read or write, the things that he started Tuskegee Institute. Okay. So this was an inspiration to him that made him go all over the world wanting to unite Black people. And this is where you get the, and I want to pause here before I go any further, just to kind of reflect on the script we used today. And this is the way we're supposed to look at this, not the way that we've been taught to look at scriptures in a religious, emotional way, but these are our stories. Okay. Now, here's a man that actually is living out Ezekiel 37:1-14 right here. He's living it out. But because we're told other things about the scripts, we don't see this. So he actually was in a valley of dry bones, metaphorically speaking, right? He came out of that. He spoke power into the four winds, because I'm sure everywhere he went, he had to tell people his vision, right? So it wasn't until he spoke into those dry bones, or awoke people like we are now, that the spirit came in them.
Right.
Now, but here's the thing. What you gonna do when you're resurrected? What if the sun didn't come up every day? Okay. Now you are a direct descendant of the sun. But yet your ideologies and philosophies on life is based on ice theology. The other thing too about this was he elevated Black women of the world to a queen status. And Black women love this about Marcus Garvey, is that whenever he addressed one of them, like we do with Queen Diane, right? And the other sisters that's, in the family, he addressed them as queens. And so they were, the thing that he said about Black women is they were humiliated to be the white man's handmaids and raise his children as mammies. And they did not like this, but so finally, when he came to America, the first office he opened was in 1917, the Harlem office, and he immediately advocated for educating our own people. And he became a threat to the U.S. government. He was the #1 target of J. Edgar Hoover, right? And we know that they use this Messiah situation when they're always, it goes all the way back to the Medu Neter lands. We talked about this before, when they first invaded our lands, when they saw the bearded man, the throne, and the all-seeing eye, they got frightened because they had never seen symbols like this before that they call hieroglyphics, right? But when they saw it, they became afraid, and like what's his name? I can't think. A.J. Rogers was saying they were afraid, and the reason they were afraid is because they saw the power of a true force. And so this is how, almost 2,000 years later, you have an individual, J. Edgar Hoover, that comes up with this philosophy about the Black Messiah. And that all of our great men who rose up, no matter what field they're in, is that they demonize them. In fact, the first Black FBI agent was hired to go after Marcus Garvey.
Wow.
Yeah, I also listened to his story. We have to look at this because they're using the same playbook today. See, this is what our people have to understand. Even when you have the leaders of our government doing the things they're doing to our people, it's because they know this history. They know that you don't pay attention to this history. This is why they come up with a proposition, Project 46, or Project 2025, or a King Alfred plan. These are just documents that they put together now that are from their history when they first came on our lands. There's nothing new, as they say, under the sun.
That's right.
So finally, Marcus Garvey had a massive global presence, over 1,900 divisions in more than 40 countries. And by 1920, he was centered in the U.S., had over 725 branches. And as I said, they were in the Caribbean, in Africa. Oh, I forgot about Canada and Australia.
Right.
This is
global.
This is amazing. Millions of members, and thousands of organizations that were connected to him.
That's right. Wow.
So, at the end of the day, it's our mindset. And I've come to grips with something, Brother Lance.
Mm-hmm.
There's only going to be a few of us that's going to withstand this. It's not going to be, and I say that with a heavy heart.
Yeah.
Because, boy, I don't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it because
say it, brother.
I had to say it. That they have won. They have won. They have won because there'll never be another Marcus Garvey. Okay. Black people's mindsets are not on uniting and building our own corporations. The greatest thing in our life, vision in our life, is to assimilate. That's the greatest vision that we have.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're in a situation now where the systems, the wicked systems that have given our people all of this worthless fiat, once they achieve that, they take it all back. It's like the repossession game with a car. They want you to fail the payments because they can sue you for the money and they can resell the car. Okay, this is what they do with our people. And I made up in my mind that in 2026, I have to now shift my focus to people that want to build, want to build for our people. I cannot continue to fight against my own people who I only want to connect with the ones who think the way I do. I don't have another 50 years here on this planet. Okay?
Same here, bro.
Yeah. And like the lady who had the documents that you knew in New York, our documents are going to be lost in history because our people don't value our documents. They don't value our people like Marcus Garvey. They don't even care. All they care about is going viral with nonsense.
Tell me about it.
What are you getting out of? And then I saw this young brother who they had, I guess, live streaming or whatever, went viral. I guess he made a lot of money. And I'm not against making money, okay? I'm just saying you cannot put 100% of your focus on fiat. You cannot do that, okay? And so I don't know how long after he, became famous or whatever, but he had a mental breakdown. Because, see, that's not substance. Once that emotional attention and energy is taken away from you, then you spend all of your time trying to get the same dopamine high that you got from that, and it ain't gonna happen.
Ain't gonna happen.
And it's like a rat in a hamster wheel, just going.
We don't get it. We don't understand it. We don't see it. The dopamine hit, the low self-esteem, the feeling that if we assimilate into the system that's looking to destroy us as a people, that we made it. We want attention. We're scared to say the real truth of anything. We're controlled. An athlete that's controlled by them better watch what they say on X or Twitter.
Oh,
because they'll be reprimanded and shut down. You take a knee, you'll get shut down.
Yeah.
You say something, the algorithms will be programmed against you. And what you say won't go out there unless it's laced with some foolishness or you're and get on the crystal and find out that you're a fraud. You know what doctor I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's so much deception. They're pre-made templates and cups, categories to catch us in, depending on our temperament. If we lean toward separating from Caribbean people or separating from African, there's a place online for that, which online now and has always been for mind control. You know, they don't have to do what they did years ago with the counterintelligence program. It's YouTube now.
Oh, yeah.
And social media platforms.
Yes.
And attention. And the men want attention, the women want attention, everybody wants to go viral, and they get a rush.
Yes. I see that.
There are things I've done that have gone viral. So what? For what are you going viral for? Now they don't let certain things go out.
Oh,
who cares if it's 2 people that get the message, if it's 35 people? Like I said, this platform is going to be the first one to get negative 100 hits on a video. And I'll be proud because they're watching. You see what I mean? After time, like you said, you can't save everybody.
Yeah.
Let them be. If you're in a burning house and you have the courage to go back in to save some of the people that you love that are in there, and you're pulling them to come out, and they're holding on and kicking at you, are you going to lose the life that the Creator gave you to do the work that you have to do? This is the time we're in. In this particular time of war, the ones who have the true hearts, the true bravery, we can't give up. We have to deal with the ones that are thinking like us. We have to do the triage on those Black people who are fighting against you, wasting time, playing games, stalling. No, when you, and I'm gonna shut up after this, when you have your last day on this level, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want your resume to be? See? So from this point forward, work on that. Don't care who don't like it. Don't care who don't like the fact that you don't go the sex way. And you know, I get a lot of offers to make porn. I get a lot of offers for all kind of stuff. I got a studio here. I got space. I got cameras. I can do all kind of stuff. I don't even have to put my name on it. But I'm not doing that. I'm not wasting my time. Because
you don't want to be
to
caught up like Diddy. You don't want to be caught up like Diddy, huh? With the cameras everywhere. You're filming everything. Oh, I think you froze, brother. Did you hear what I said?
No, you buffered a little bit.
Oh, I said you don't want to be like Diddy and incriminate your own self and film everything.
No. I have enough situations coming at me that are made to incriminate me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. That later on down the line, if I fall for these tricks, and it's always been that way. Yeah. When I was driving the bus in Orlando, yeah, I know what's coming at me. I said, this is to set me up later on to have something against my name. It ain't going to happen. Exactly. Kellogg said, in our current climate as a people, do you think we can ever have an organization like the UNIA ever again? I think we could do it if we unite. Yeah. And
What was the
basically,
quote? Oh, okay.
yeah, he said, in our current climate, people, do you think that we can have an organization like the UNIA ever again? I think we could do it if we unite. That's the thing. But we can't unite with everybody.
Yeah,
See what I
see,
mean?
yeah, that's a very good question, because one of the dynamics we have to look at is that there are black people now that will, just like the one that told on Denmark Vesey, that will take any amount of money, not only because they want the money, but just to shut you down. It's a
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
very it's a sickness. It's a mental illness that it's like the Stockholm syndrome or something, where you
Yep.
have a situation where we're no longer looking at each other as allies. We're looking at each other as enemies.
Yeah.
So one of the greatest tricks of the enemy is they don't have to even do anything anymore. They just tell you, well, this person is getting more attention than you, or more likes than you, or this person is doing something that you want to do, but you're not doing it. What if I gave you the opportunity to undercut him and then pay you to do it, or her? They use our sisters too.
Yeah.
And so this is a dynamic where we go back to this head nigga in charge problem that we have. I'll never forget the book I read by the former president of Morgan State, Dr. Andrew Billingsley, Shadows of the Plantation. And see, you used to have black people that their job, they were the original FBI. Their job was to watch other black people. Because when you think about it, there were more slaves than there were owners. So they couldn't watch all of them. So when they were working in the fields, when they were in the house, then you always had this person, I guess they call them snitches now, that will go rat them out, right? So think about the fact that you got to deal with, you planning, but you also know that the very same people that look like you are planning against you. That's why it's so hard when you see people that are black as me and you in bed with the people that colonized us. That is another unspoken pain that black people have to deal with. So that's why that banner you put up the first time hit me different, because you looking at people black as you, right?
Yep.
Now, I don't care what you call yourself, what alphabet you use to call yourself. You're either a child of the sun or you're not.
That's right.
And this is based on nature. This is not Neil Frazier saying this. See, we have not been taught. We've been separated from nature. But what you don't realize is nature is our greatest teacher. I don't have to hear or listen to anything they say. I already know this naturally.
Right.
And you should know it naturally. But your mindset is something that they have taken, like I always say, brother, it's some kind of sorcery or something. I don't know what you want to call it. But they got a spell on our people, man. That you talking about voodoo. This is, I don't know what kind of dolls they're using, but it's, man. All right, my brother Lance. Well, I think I'll end the show today. I know this is something that.
Thank you.
And I want to end on this note too as well. Like you said, it can be done. It can be done. But the individuals that decide to do this have to have a resolve to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you may not live to see, many of our ancestors never lived to see the fruit on the trees that they planted. Okay, this is something we have to wrap, and they scare us with death. That's why, I don't go to their hospitals. because this thing is deep, man. When you look at the true nature of those that are opposed to sun people, it'll wake you up. You don't need to drink no coffee after that. All right, my brother. Well, peace and love to you, brother Lance. Keep holding on to the belts and to the family.
Yes, we will.
You guys, and have a safe and good New Year. And I'll see you guys on the other side.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Much love.
Much love.
Always.
All right.
Yes. Brother Neil Frazier did it again. And like I said, I can't thank him enough. He said some things that, wow, hit me hard. It's true. Like what he said at the end, a lot of the seeds that were planted, a lot of things that many more revolutionaries put into motion, they wouldn't live to see the fruit. But that's symbolic, because the bottom line is, if we plant a seed, we may not live to see that tree grow. But that doesn't mean we can't plant the seed. We're supposed to, because we're in the circle of life. And whether we're going to be around to see it or not, we're supposed to do the right thing for the future. And there's so many of us, and I see it every day, and it hurts, and it doesn't defeat me, but it causes me to think, to realign my energies. Like Chuck D said, and welcome to the Terror Dome, back several decades ago, every brother ain't a brother. And just like that seed, that you may not see the end result of the fruit that comes out of that fruit tree, that person who's around you, you may not see what's inside of them right away. So we can't keep gambling on potential. We have to move in a way where we deal with what we know to be the truth. What is your track record? What are you about? What have you done? Some people, they're early on in their journey, and you may not see much, but you can see that conviction, because also you got to go with your gut feeling. You see, because not only do people that look like us, that supposedly understand the plight, not as complainers, but those who have grown up to know what the system's all about. There are many people who don't like us talking this way, because they'll say, oh, racism doesn't exist, and whatever cuckoo thing is in their head, let them run with it. But I'm not going to harp on it, because we still have things to do regardless. It's like the mailman who comes into your yard to deliver the mail. He's halfway to the door, or the mailbox by the door, and the dog is ripping his pants. Does he run out? No, I'm going to finish delivering that mail. I'll kick the dog to the side and get on. I'm going to do what I have to do. And that's what it is that we have to focus on, doing what we have to do, what we know we're here and put here for. But I'm not going to stop living because these entities are around. I'm going to pull in. You know, it's almost like the turtle when it goes into the shell. Like a fighter. The other fighter's coming with all this offensive moves, so you put up your hands, defend yourself, and figure out how to time him to get him hit with blows. I'm not going to turn around and run away from the fight. But I agree with what he said. You know, if we keep up like this, it's a sure win for our destruction, because we've been chopped up, minimized, reduced because of our lust for their baubles and their trinkets and their rubies and their acknowledgement. Like I spoke on that short clip that I did yesterday about, I am the first this and I am the first that. Well, if you're bragging about being the first black man for this or the first black woman for this, you should really think why you're saying you're the first. That speaks a lot about the system that kept you outside the door and wouldn't let you in. So in other words, why are we so concerned about being let in into the system that may let a few token Negroes in while slaughtering the rest of us, trying to kill our spirit, keeping us shut out? Well, all the talents and abilities that we bring to the destructive system that's against us, we don't have the confidence to turn it around and do something for ourselves. All of the money that we have in America alone, whether we're educated or rich, collectively, we can't do something for ourselves. But we contribute so much into that system, and we're so happy when we are called the first. I'm the first Negro to white people. I don't care about them. I don't hate anybody, but I don't care about them. Just like when he spoke about when the young man was put into the grave, thinking he was going to do some work or dig out some more, and the ladder was lifted. In the system, the ladder has been lifted. And there's so many people, as it was mentioned here by a troll, they try to minimize what we go through. Well, racism, if you just ask a Mexican about somebody from Guatemala, and racism is everywhere. Blah, blah, blah. But did those people do to the other side what was done to us? And the damage, not only the financial setback from using our bodies to build America, build the UK, build these great civilizations over the world, but how they rendered us useless for ourselves. We can be mighty for them, but we can't be mighty for ourselves. When you're playing on their teams, not just in sports, but in their military, and you're patriotic, a reprogrammed mind, you can't think for the love of your people, but you could be patriotic to a country that despises you and works against you. That's sick. And I'm not mad, but you still don't see the. How you gonna have a best friend that you call best friend? You hanging out, you swear by this guy, but he's molesting your sister behind your back. That's your friend? And when you're told that this is happening, you're in denial about it. You see, a lot of the people who in their mind who have made it, they don't want to undo all that they have achieved to see the reality of everything. It's the people who haven't achieved in the system, who are on the outside, like the people who have donated to Marcus Garvey, their little 35 cents, their little 10 cents, their little whatever, and collectively look how mighty it is. So they have to defame him. They have to put him down. They have to reduce him. They have to come with charges at him so we don't look at him. We say, oh, he was nothing anyway. Mail fraud, all this. Who's reporting this? This is why none of us can look great and mighty in front of our people. None of us can speak truth to power and get away with it without them coming at us or finding some way to come at us or reduce us, snuff us, or just erase us from history. But you can't worry about that. You can't worry about how many people see you or social media. It's the ego. It's the ego. People start talking and they want to be at the podium and they want to, on this platform, if you want to come on and say something worthwhile, I always welcome you. I'll shut up. I'll shut up. If you're saying something right for us that is nutritional to our spirit and our mind, but you get people, and that's why this social media is a drug. It could be something powerful, but it's a drug because the way we use it. Every bit of medicine, and I didn't say this originally, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this, that when you're sick and you take medicine, the medicine is necessary. But after you're well, if you keep taking the medicine, it's poison to the body. So us having an open way to communicate with each other, it seemed to be something good. So they gave it to us for a little while, get us hooked, and then start chopping the heads off slowly but surely and redirecting all kind of stuff. They say, we can use this. This is the best propaganda machine ever. And then we can have our plants. And I don't mean plants that grow out of the ground, people that are planted as agents to get to your mind. And so long after we shut the phone off or shut the computer off, we have these thoughts in our mind how we see ourselves and why this next black man or next black woman is the enemy. Unity is not allowed in this day and age. Effective aggression is not allowed. Why do I say effective aggression? Again, in boxing, it's not how many punches you throw, it's how much you land. And it's not how much you land either. You're gonna hit the head, hit the body, hit the arm. You gotta have a focused effort, right? Effective aggression. You can throw 100 punches at me and it won't touch me. Or maybe one hits me. I can throw 5 and all 5 hit you. I conserve my energy for the later rounds, and I gave an offense that was more telling on you as the rounds go on. So you can't get emotional. And we always get so emotional on Facebook, on YouTube, in the comment sections. People are fighting all day. That's why we have these phones in the first place like this. This technology has always been around. And people will never see arguing with them. I remember friends of mine 15 years ago arguing over politics all night long. I was up all night. I couldn't even go to work. I was arguing and all of these. We're turned in on each other. What if we face the enemy, face the same direction, and you can go at that? Growing up in New York City, it wasn't the country like down south, but you had more wildlife there. In New York City, rabbits and snakes and fireflies and praying mantises and stuff like that, but that got wiped out the more it became urban. But I remember seeing an earthworm, inching along, and a bunch of ants that's much smaller than the earthworm, biting up the earthworm. Later on, you go to the store and come back, the earthworm is just laying there dead. What did it tell me? Even though the ant is small, if you have enough of them that are unified for a common goal and purpose, it will defeat. I'm not saying the worm was an enemy, but for some reason, they were probably going to bite him up and eat him. Our unity. You focus, you take the magnifying glass and have a newspaper, and you have the rays of the sun that are spread out all over the place. But you take that magnifying glass and you focus the rays of the sun, something that's readily available and spread out, given life, and that thing will burn through that paper. Why can't we think that way? Why are there some people who, when we're trying to get together to gather the rays of the sun in our lives to burn through opposition, there's always somebody that wants to take our hand and move it away? So I understand what Brother Neil Frazier said about it seems like they won, but I want one more round with these people. I want another couple years of my life to see who is collectively thinking a certain way. And I'm not trying to be some guy making no movement or whatever, but if I can undergird somebody else or do my part, do my part. If we all hold hands together on a certain level and do our part, we may not have the same background or birthplace or spiritual ideology, but we all catching hell. Look, everybody else is unified and they have their internal disputes, but they get over it because they know overall we better be together, and then we can settle things later on, right? You ever see a man and a woman in the street fighting? And unfortunately, some men put their hand on our sisters. I'm not saying this is right, but you as a man go to break it up and restrain the man. It happened to me. I mean, this guy was beating this woman. It was in New York City. I was somewhere. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I don't know where I was coming from. I used to go in the city and walk around and wander and be nosy and see things. And this guy was obviously drunk, ripped her clothes half off. I saw how he was doing. So I went behind him and grabbed him up. And we kind of fell down, and my elbow got messed up because we fell on my elbow. And I was saying, the people were around, I said, listen, you need to call the cops. This is the days before cell phones and smartphones. It's back like in the late 80s or something. That lady jumped up and tried to kick me. Get off of him. What are you? Just none of your business. I was like, whoa. And he had a smirk on his face. And what was I going to do? I wasn't going to do anything to her, but I didn't want to get kicked. I mean, she did kick me 2 or 3 times in my leg. We were down on the ground. And this showed me how it is, the Stockholm syndrome that we have. At the end of the day, those who look like us and sit around the table and they talk or whatever, when they get out in that world and they get around other people, they start talking a different tune, and they will do whatever they have to do to be in good favor with their master. Switch outs. You don't know who's switching. Look, there's a lot of switch outs that have been through this platform that you don't see anymore. Laying up in the bed with the white woman right now. Right now. For me, things come out in time. Right? I've seen it. I can't believe it. I just can't believe in this human nature. This is why I talk a lot about human nature. Because at the root of so many things, a lot of us are walking contradictions. We are walking contradictions. And we all have struggles and challenges, and some may say demons. But we have to, at some point, get this straight before we leave up out of here, because we're not going to be able to do anything good, anything progressive, even if you're not into our people and see us do love. It's all out of love, not hate. Do something for yourself. But we're so conflicted. You're right, the Wolfmaster 91. They haven't won the war. I'm still here, and you're right. Nature's precision, vanity is definitely our kryptonite. The ability to be seen, and your numbers are going up, and I have followers, and yes, and then we get pumped up. We get pumped up. We get that rush, that dopamine. Everybody walking around souped up. And just like Neil Frazier said, the HNIC, the head nigga in charge. Everybody wants to be in charge. Everybody wants to be at the podium, making these rousing speeches, admired, lusted after. Every man wants to be the man. It's crazy. I'm tired of all of this stuff. I'm up here. I'm in the mountains where it's quiet. I'll get on. I'll talk my talks. We'll do our shows and stuff like that. But I'm not looking for that. I just want peace. Peace of mind, peace and quiet, clarity, purpose, continued purpose for the right things. Get my sunlight, get my little nutrition, get a good sleep at night, recharge. And if I can help anybody, if I can motivate somebody, fine. But all that other stuff, like I said, I'm 62 years old. 20 years from now, I'm 82. I'm not wasting no time. And come February, I'm online for 25 years. So I've been doing this for 25 years. So if I jump it up another 25 years, I'm 87. I'm gonna still do this, whatever form, for the rest of my life, but I'm not wasting time with this struggle with people who just want to come at you or see you and despise you and want to knock you down or whatever. That's why I'm doing things so sure-footed, with a great foundation, doing just enough, no more, no less, and enjoying it. That's all. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying myself talking to you right now. I'm a little sweaty. I had a hectic day. I mean, not hectic where it was on my nerves. No, but it was. I got Brother Eric here with me. We did some work today. We covered some ground. We're still doing some stuff. And this is where you have to balance yourself out, because if you push too much in one area of your life, it'll be like that magnifying glass burning through the paper. You'll burn out. I ain't burning out. When they took my old channel down, no, I'm giving up, I'm quitting. No. You get this, stop breathing. You gotta keep on and keep on living, keep on doing what you're supposed to do. Go to the next level, take it to the next level. How can I make myself better? How can I make myself more effective? What can I do today to make me better? What can I learn today to make myself better? You can always improve. You can, look, you have the internet. Fellas, not all of y'all. Stop looking at the naked ladies, y'all. Stop looking at the butts. I mean, the woman's shape is beautiful, right? It's eye-catching. Look, I get that. But do something at the end of the day where lust didn't take your mind away and you just scrolling and looking and, oh man, look at this. Oh man, you get in the street, oh man, look at this. But look, there's so much more to the sister than just that, man. Show a real righteous love, right? Instead of faking it just to get somewhere that you ain't supposed to be. If you're supposed to be there, then so be it, right? Stop using each other. Stop trying to profit off of each other. You know, let's be a family again. I miss those days. Yeah, for me. I remember, look, I was born in '63, but I remember a lot of things from I'll say, the late 60s. My parents talked to me. I'm a little kid looking around like, okay, and they never lied to me. And coming up in the 70s through the blaxploitation movies and the music and Soul Train and all of this stuff going on, you know? It blues, the Bill McCreary Report, Like It Is with Tony Brown's Journal. Wow. You can't say black no more. You can say it online, but they can't push that stuff now in so-called major media. Can't. Remember the cookouts and the block parties and how we had more of a good vibration. And there were differences, and there were drugs back then. There was heroin back then. There were guys coming back from war with drug habits and, you know, schizophrenic and PTSD, and there's poverty. There were things going on, but we had something more than we have now. That thing, we don't have it no more. Some of us have it with each other, right? But we don't have it anymore. It's like going into a supermarket where everything's picked over, going to the department store and everything's picked over. It's like the world today is like going shopping the day after Christmas. You got more people bringing things back than more merchandise that's good that's there. For those who celebrate Christmas, but since they do, I have to say it, mention it that way. It's a different world. So my doggy bag of memories, I hold on too tight because we don't have as many Brother Neil Frazier's out here, Sister Diane's, Wolfmaster, and you know, Brother Calamunk and Sweetberry, and so on and so on and so forth. So we have to really stay connected, because a lot of folks are not going to see certain things, and we can't waste our time trying to convince it at this point. if you can't see certain things in this world as a melanated person, how the system works and how we're swimming upstream, but we have to know that we're going to be the winners at the end, even if it's not a lot of us that come back from this war intact. I'm not going to lose my mind. I've seen too much and have been through too much to lose my mind and just freak out at this point. I'm the sole survivor. I'm the sole survivor of many inner circles. A lot of my people are gone, transitioned. Some are locked up. I have a close friend of mine right now did some foolish things. He's locked up for my age. We knew each other from 1971. Why would you do the things that you did? You know, that hurts me. That's another one falling. And the longer you walk the tightrope on a windy day with no safety net under the bottom, is the more chances that the wind's going to knock you down. So the longer you go on and you can intact your mind, your spirit, your motivations, your emotion, your body. Like I said, at this age, I can be in better shape. I want to start doing some type of training, which I haven't been doing in the construction of this home. But me and Eric were walking up to the top of the mountain where all the commerce is in this village. I'm like, man, my legs are hurting. My butt's hurting. I'm breathing a little bit. Glad I had my hand towel to wipe my forehead. So I got to focus on that, not more so and have everything else fall through, but I got to make sure to keep that going on. There's so many different things to distract us, especially in the day of scrolling. You fighting sleep just to see what's going to come up next when you scroll up. We got to be able to say, okay, enough is enough, or go in the surgical precision and say, this is the kind of content I want to watch right now. And it's okay to go for some laughs or whatever, right? We need to laugh. But don't let this thing take your mind away and stall you where you're so distracted that you forget what your mission is. And your personal mission to yourself, keeping yourself intact, maintaining yourself, feeding yourself right, putting the right things in your head, not letting people get you emotional and try to push buttons on you. Be careful who's around you. What's their purpose? If they don't have a purpose, how are they going to have a purpose join you in what you're doing? If they're just wandering around like Flotsam and Jetsam, like Rusty and Kirby, just nothing. They piggyback on you, you got to carry their weight. No, I can't do it no more. Can't. You got to generate for your own mission. We can join together, but you generate and I'm generating, we're good. And in these relationships, and I'm gonna wrap it down soon after this, but the bottom line, you know, when people are saying two people together is one, that means you're half a person. You get in these relationships, you're supposed to be more than just two people. You're supposed to be more than 200%. If you're vibing right, you're supposed to be synergistic, where it's like the combination of 25 people in what you produce, right? That's what it's all about. Stop getting in these unions that suck you down. And you look back, oh, I wasted all these years. There's people who wasted decades. You got to be right with yourself first, and it's not being selfish. Stop sacrificing yourself for the wrong things. You know, because you're afraid of being alone, or you're afraid of cares. Like I told Brother Neil Frazier, at the end of the day, or at the end of your days on this earth, that's it. And what is your resume and your legacy going to say? Were you chasing after somebody to be in your life that didn't want to be, or did you indulge yourself in certain things that wasted your time where you could have gotten more done? You see what I mean? You know those state exams or those tests in schools, or what do they call them? I forgot what they call them. SAT, whatever. And they say, well, you have 2 hours to finish this test. There's a whole bunch of questions on there. You don't sit there and waste your time on one that you can't figure out. They'll even tell you the cheat sheet. If there's one that's hard for you, write down the number, move on to the other ones that you know that you can do, and come back to the ones that are tough. So in life, if you have a situation that's draining you, running you down, why are you staying on that particular situation? Move on from it. And unlike the test, you don't have to go back to it. Simple as that. But you know, guilt and feeling as though an obligation, and that's why I like human nature so much and decoding human nature, because there's so much about it that once we learn, it makes us better. Have more effective aggression. I can't sleep if I can't tell you what I did positive for myself and those around me in my day. I already have my desires for tomorrow. If the Creator wakes me up, I already know what I'm going to aim at. I got one more thing to do tonight. There's something I started online, spoke about a particular topic, and I want to finish that up and put that up before I go to sleep. And I'm feeling it now because I was up from early. That truck came with the delivery of sand, a big mountain of sand to mix with the concrete to do certain things and rendering and more tile work and more stone work and stuff like that. Kudos to the brother who did the stone work. It's beautiful stone work. There's a whole place here. Just the way I like it, just the way I wanted it, because it came from here, right? So focus on yourself. If you're better and you're well, you can do more for the people around you. It's as simple as that. You know, I'm going to get to work and put something up. Probably you'll see it. Since I'm 5 hours ahead of the East Coast, and right now it's 9:50. So on the East Coast is 4:50. That's still hard for me to grasp that it could be 4:50 on the East Coast where I used to live and the sun's out. Now it's like, and it's so quiet up here. Now I can go to sleep right and sleep on, but I got to push to do one more thing, you know, and I got more things to do tomorrow. And like I said, just make sure to go to LANCESCURVX.com and put in your email address so you can get everything down into your inbox, and nobody can shadow ban me that way. Nobody can use algorithms to not be seen. I haven't seen your videos in a while on YouTube. Well, just LANCESCURVX. You see it down here in the corner. No, I'm backwards. So how is it? This way? This way? Oh, yeah. Okay. Right here. Right here in the bottom. LANCESCURVX.com. Right there in the white. Put your email address in there. I do send a lot of stuff out, so I don't want to annoy you, but that's just what it is. Anyway, much love to you all. I'm going to grab a little something to drink, maybe not to eat. It's a little too late. Let me take a bite, but it's always a pleasure, always an honor to be here with you. And I got some more content coming tonight. So we'll do some lives this week. My time is freed up. I just have to do some stuff early tomorrow. And I'm where I should be. And thank you for the support and the love. I got a few phone calls to make too. Anyway, much love to you all. Take care. LANCESCURV out. Yes, indeed.
To the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they said.